So, welcome to the Get Busy Livin podcast, and we've got a wonderful guest this morning. That's Diane Kehler, and thank you so much, Diane, for coming on this morning and evening for you, and give you some gold nuggets of information. So much appreciated for your time.
Yes, you're very welcome. Thanks for having me, Scott.
All right, Diane. So, I'll dive right into the questions. So, just tell us, Diane, what gets you out of bed every morning?
Um, well, it's a new morning, and I wake up very blessed to have my own business, and I get to help other people. I also have a very active upline, so we are all working together as a team, encouraging each other as well as supporting our clients and helping others stay healthy and work on their health goals. So it's really a very positive dynamic of feeling feeling your best because we also are products of the product, but then helping others achieve their health goals as well.
That's very commendable of you, Diane, because you're obviously trying to help the community, and we appreciate that. Thank you so much for doing that. So I'll go on to the next question. So tell us, what got you into health coaching?
Um, it was, let's see, fall of 2021. So the pandemic was winding down, and I was approached by a contact that I had met in networking, and she owned her own Shackley business. She invited me to join her, and I began asking a lot of questions. I wanted to know um, how strong the company was, and it's been around since 1956. It was started by Dr. Shackley, who was a naturopath and also a chiropractor. Um, it's very financially solvent. The products have been thoroughly tested, clinically tested. We have over 100 patents, and we we also have a CEO right now with he's a visionary, and he is actually moving this company um, very much into where the market is looking to have the kind of products that we offer. Um, as I was talking with her, I began to realize that this was an opportunity that I wanted to take. And so I began. And as I got acquainted with the products, I started to feel a difference in my own health. And I started to feel like I had more energy, and um, I wasn't quite as tired as I had been. And I realized that not all vitamins are the same.
That's, are we going to go on that tangent? Why not? Why not?
We can.
So yeah, so it's Shakely. Yeah, that's the
It's
brand name. Is
Shackley.
that right? Shackley.
Shackley.
Sorry.
Hmm.
All right. So the Shackley brand, yes. Yeah, this is a big problem. They came out with a research paper that came out in 2016, and it basically said that, so in a nutshell, it basically said that it was for that all supplements are for crap, and that the reason being is because of the fillers. Because
Mm.
the problem is the fillers get in the way of our bodies absorbing the actual nutrients that we're trying to absorb, that the packaging says on it. And that's in short. It went into like huge detail as to why, but it's normally the starches that they use, the starches that they use to stabilize the vitamin, and number two is the preservatives.
Um,
The same.
Shack- Shackley, actually, Dr. Shackley actually invented the first vitamins in the United States back in um, 1915. So this was actually before anyone had ever heard of the word vitamin. And Shackley's products are, as I said, they are clinically tested. Um, all of our ingredients are listed. And the Shackley products actually go 3 times beyond the pharmacopoeia grade. Um, and the FDA here in the States has said that if they would ever regulate supplements, they would go by the Shackley gold standards. Um, every ingredient in our products is researched. It's I mean, not only do they look at the actual plant, but they also look at the soil, and not only the soil that the plant is grown in, but the soil of the surrounding fields. So if that doesn't meet their standards, they're not going to use it. Um, and then we also have the landmark study that was done by University of Berkeley, Southern California, at the early part of this century. That was done with several test groups. Um, one was with the Shackley vitamins. The other was a group that was taking placebos. And then a third group was other name brand vitamins. And Shackley came out on top. But that was an independent study, and it was done over a number of years, over 10 years.
And I'm glad you said that, because how many times have we? It's pharmaceuticals are a perfect example. They said that it's done by an independent body, but when you actually follow the money, that it was funded by them anyway. But what was I going to say? So we appreciate that. That's amazing that he got that result, and yeah, that means a lot, because the problem is the transparency is very minimal in today's society. And
Mhm.
especially when it comes to supplements and anything man-made.
Right. Our CEO went to our scientists and said, "Now, are you sure?" And they said, "Absolutely." They were quite positive that the Shackley brand would be superior in this independent test, and it was.
Yeah, and that's excellent. That's excellent. So tell us, what did you do when you got out of? Did you go to college?
I did. So I went to college back in the 80s. I graduated from a state university here in the States, in my home state, and I have a degree, a Bachelor of Science degree in computer science.
Computer science. Wow. So that's a little different to what you're doing now.
It
So what
is.
happened there? So did you get a job in that field straight after, or did you?
I did. I started working for a small publishing house on it was in a small town along Lake Erie, and then I got married and moved here to Central Ohio and started working for a local bank. So it's a large national bank that I worked at um, until we started our family.
You're a banker, a bankster.
Well, I worked in the banking industry, but I was in a supportive role.
Okay, okay, good, gotcha. So you weren't front line. You were in a different sector of the bank, basically.
I was on a team that was helping with at the time electronic funds transfer.
Oh
Um,
yeah, that
there
makes
there
sense.
was there was also an adjoining team that was doing automatic teller machines, ATMs. So that was back
Yeah,
in.
yeah, I get it. Yeah, a lot of the audience, especially the younger audience, wouldn't know
Hmm.
that. Like banks now, it's very automated. You're lucky to get a teller these days. It's all
Hmm.
basically through an ATM, um, automatic teller machine. But yeah, you're right. They didn't have this sophisticated technology back then. So yeah, it was all brand new, I suspect, and
Yeah,
I suspect there was a lot of resistance as well.
it was cutting edge. I wouldn't say there was a lot of resistance back then. It was more. just making all the systems work and talk together. But I think people were excited about it because it was making their life easier. But as you said, it's antiquated technology now. But back then it was cutting edge, and so there was several large teams that were working on those projects.
Yeah. So that, yeah, because everything was paper. So you had to get the person's name, and then you had to hope that their name was in the archives, and then they had to go through their history, their financial history, and then um, yeah, then you had to make sure that it was the right person you had with the record, and then you went from there. Whereas now, it's you go to the teller. The teller has your swipe your card straight away. They have your details up, bang, there and there. So they didn't have to run back and forth, and that's what I'm saying. The younger generations wouldn't understand that. It was very time and labor intensive
Hmm.
just
Hmm.
to get someone's details. So
Right.
yeah, and that's what you're saying is that the technology had, well, no one was using it. So banks usually are the first ones to use that sort of technology,
Right.
especially because,
Right.
well, they have the money. Go figure.
Right. It's a fast moving industry.
Yeah, well, it's even and even now they're well, some banks are embracing it, like that's the crypto, the currencies, and some banks aren't. So I don't know about in the States, but here in Australia, there are certain banks just won't let you do transactions with crypto.
Oh,
They,
okay.
they won't convert it. They won't let you do it. There's some banks that will. Some banks will let you convert that money. But yeah, so I get what you're saying. So what happened then? You did you have children? I suspect.
We did. We have three children. They're now young adults. So my oldest is 31, and then we have two still in their 20s.
Yeah, gotcha.
Hmm.
And so the career went on the skids then for a little while.
Yes. So
Yeah,
I took time off, and I was blessed to raise our children, stay at home mom. And then in 2009, my husband and I bought a business, and so I went into business with him. So for 12 years, so I do have the small business background that I was able to transfer over into my Shackley business. But my husband Eric and I own a storefront franchise locally, and so I was able to help him.
what sort of industry was the storefront?
We own a cartridge world, which is
Oh
dealing
yeah,
with
yep, yep, gotcha.
printers,
Printers.
printer supplies. Eric also does repair work, networking, and he does drop shipment as well. So our business has expanded beyond our local area to nationwide. And part of that was actually due to the pandemic. Um, we were lucky enough to stay open. We were considered um,
Essential
a
service.
vital industry, and
Oh, is that what they called it over there? They called it a
um,
vital industry.
it was called I think it was vital services. So the fact that we
Yeah, yeah,
supplied healthcare, um, we had several healthcare facilities that we supplied. We also had several first responders. So we had a fire station, police stations, such as that.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So because,
They're your customers. Yeah.
yes, so we
So
were allowed to stay
then
open.
you become essential as well. Yeah.
Yes,
So they call it here essential services.
yes, that's right. They called it essential services. I was trying to remember the name.
No, it's
Um,
okay. It's
but
okay.
we also offered curbside pickup. So if folks didn't want to actually come into a store, we could actually take product out to them as they drove up to the curb, and then we could carry it out.
Sounds like the old 1950s, 1960s driving.
Yeah, we were trying to be innovative, keep
Just
the lights on.
just no short skirts and roller skates.
No, we were not doing that.
And getting the order wrong.
Actually, that happened once, but we were able to correct it. So
I'm only kidding, because that's why McDonald's proliferated, because you could go in, that they'd have your order done within a minute, and it was correct. So it was whereas with the drive-throughs, with the old, well, drive-in, whatever you want to call it, you'd have to wait an hour because it took them forever to get your meal out, and then they got the meal out, and then it was no good. It had the wrong order.
right,
So
yeah.
then you had to wait another hour for the right order to come out. Well, you hoped it was the right order.
Mhm.
So yeah, I was only kidding. No business is perfect. Everyone makes mistakes. We all, and especially with supply. With supply, you're going to make mistakes. I mean, if the U.S. military and the Australian Army can stuff it up, well, yeah, little businesses can too.
But that's what we did during the pandemic, and yeah, so we were able to stay open and supply our customers.
And so yeah, you learn a lot about deadlines, and because everyone wants everything yesterday, and especially with your printing cartridges, especially if they have a deadline themselves.
Right. A lot of times we could, if we didn't have it in stock, we could definitely order it and drop ship it directly to the client.
Yeah, from the wholesaler, you mean?
Right. But we do have an inventory on hand for the most popular cartridges. We have noticed a shift from inkjet to laser. So more of our clients are using laser right now. And that's also an indication that we've shifted from more of the home-based printers to business, which are using lasers.
Is it just because they're dearer? Is the laser dearer to purchase and dearer to maintain? Is that why you're getting the bigger?
They are more expensive upfront, but cost per page is much less. They last longer. You're also going to get more toner, more pages printed using a laser toner than you would inkjet. So if you are doing a lot of printing, we suggest that you get a laser printer.
Yeah, right. Okay, I didn't know that. So yeah, because that's what I thought. Because usually small businesses, they can't afford the big printers. You go into businesses I've worked for in the past, big businesses. I mean, they buy these machines that are as tall as I am. So, and you think, what? How much did that cost? And then when you inquire and find out, you think, oh god, as a small business, you're never going to be able to afford to do that unless you're in that sort of industry where you're pumping out a lot of information.
Right. And we do run into that. That is not our forte, but we always ask clients, well, how much are you printing? Do you really need something that large? Or how often is it breaking down? Is it something that is a pain point for you? Is it something that you would like us to look into to see if we could offer an alternative solution? Sometimes the answer is yes, sometimes it's no, but it might be worth a conversation.
Yeah, definitely. And yeah, so and like you said, it lasts longer and you get more out of the ink as well for the jet. So how does that work? Like, I understand ink jet. What do you call it? Sorry, laser. So how does laser work? Because I understand how inkjet works,
Hmm.
but laser.
So laser toner is it's a powder. It's actually very small plastic particles that are filled inside of um, the actual cartridge. And of course, it comes in four colors. If you're printing just black, you would just have one toner. If you are printing color, you're also going to have cyan, yellow, and magenta. The magenta is the red. Um, and these particles then are heated. You know, as it goes through the printer, um, the image is actually um, shown onto the laser. The laser then puts it onto a piece of paper that you're printing, and then these particles, these small plastic particles, are then heated and fused to the paper as it's coming out. So one of the advantages of laser printing is that it's also water repellent. So if you happen to spill your coffee or a glass of water on a page, it's not going to run. It's going to stay permanent.
Yeah, right. Okay. Okay. So it leaves an impression, basically. That's what you're saying on the powder.
Yes, yes. I know my husband could explain that more eloquently, but that's basically it in a nutshell. The image of the laser is is projected, and then the particles then are um, the way it's programmed. It's going to take those particles and put the colors. You know, if you're using a color laser, it's going to put those onto the paper that it will replicate the image that you're printing.
That's pretty cool. That's very cool. And it's very quick, huh? It's a lot faster than.
They
Uh,
are. Laser printers are much faster than the inkjet.
inkjet. Yeah, right. So what are we talking? Do you know? Do you know the numbers? I think
Um,
InCheck they're getting like 80 pages per minute. I think I've had one in the past.
I think you are correct, Scott. I think you are correct. Again, my husband would be more knowledgeable about this than I. But you know, the technology behind it, I do like to learn. And my husband's also, if we can say, nerd, because he was in the same industry as I was, and you know, it's very logical. It's a field that we can understand the technology behind it. And Eric has also used his background um, to automate the business a little bit more.
Yep,
He has set up automated fulfillment for our clients so that when they need something, we get an email and know, okay, so we need to place this order. There's also a small bit of software that Eric can drop onto the server of a client, and so that is reading the IP address of the printer. So every printer that's connected to the internet has an IP address. So that piece of software will monitor when those toner levels are getting low, and when they are, it's going to send an alert back to our store. Eric's going to see that and realize, okay, this printer at this site is getting low. So we need to automate an order fulfillment for that location.
yeah, very cool. All right, so back to the what do you call it? The Shackley business, and so yeah, was there when you said that you felt more energy and that you were taking the products. What sort of products were you taking at the time? Do you remember?
I started with a the vitamin, the multivitamin, as well as our protein life shake, um, which I was taking every day. So it comes in chocolate, vanilla, strawberry. I like chocolate. And I was taking that, and I was noticing that it was really filling me up, and it was tasty. I mean, it's delicious. And I was also started taking omega-3s, fish oils, which are also good for the heart, the brain. It also lubricates your joints and everything. So I was doing that, and I was starting to notice, my body kind of went through a cleanse when I was first starting, and then after a while it kind of leveled off, and I started to notice I was beginning to crave my morning shake every morning, and yeah, I still love it.
And it's all plant based, huh? It's
We have two choices. It can be plant-based, it can be soy-based.
soy.
I find the soy a little bit more robust than the plant, but our soy protein is actually cold processed, so it is very safe. It's safe for women, but yeah, I've
So can I pull on the anchors here? Just whoa,
okay.
because that's a very important thing that you just said. That it's very healthy for women. Now, why would you say that about soy based products?
I have heard, and I can't remember where, but I have heard some arguments against using soy, especially for women. But of course, I am far beyond menopause, and I can honestly say I haven't noticed any concerns with using this product. And the fact that Shackley has tested it, the way it's processed, um, they clearly label it, and I haven't heard of any arguments against the soy-based products with Shackley.
Yeah, okay. I'll expand for you. As it is a rhetorical question. I'm sorry. Um, what actually happens is so cold pressed is awesome. Why? Because it doesn't alter the constitution of the soy or the
Okay.
soybean. So the same with oil. Oil is no different. So with olive oil, you might have heard of cold pressed olive oil. What that means is they're just basically squeezing the oil out of the olive uh, 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 seed, basically. So it's the same with the soybean. They're just squeezing the oil out of the bean. Now the problem is that's 1% of the market. The other 99% they heat it up. Now the problem with that is when they heat up the juice that comes out of it, decoction, whatever you want to call it, it actually alters the construction of the structure of the soy oil, the soy decoction, the soy juice. I'll call it soy juice. It's not really an oil; it's a juice. It's more viscous than oil. So, what does that mean? It means that it reduces it actually gets rid of all the iodine that's actually in the soy plant, the soybean. So when women have it, it wrecks their reproductive organ because iodine is a big supplement that we need for reproduction.
Okay.
So, so they're selling us garbage, and women don't even know it. What oh, I'm having my soy milk this morning. Yeah, it's because I got the soy. That's good for my reproductive organ. They don't tell the public that actually is uh, the reason why women are getting sick. Why our reproduction system is going to crap. Why? Because they don't tell us that they're heating up the soy bean to extract the soy juice. What you
Okay.
get on your
Okay.
plate, And then on top of that, then they throw an additive in there because they've altered the bean juice to make it last longer. So then they can throw it in your milk because it goes off very fast. It's only 24 hours and soy juice will go off.
Oh, wow.
So it's going to be very quick. So you got to, yeah.
Okay,
So that's the reason.
That makes sense, and that's why Shackley has emphasized it's cold processed.
Yeah, cold process. That's great because they're not altering the constitution of the juice.
Right.
So yeah, you can explain that to your clients in the future because not many people this is what peeves me about our supplement society is that they're coming out with a new, oh, this is great for you, this is good for you. Yes, in a study, in a laboratory, with rats, but when you and that's because they cold pressed whatever they're trying to extract from the soybean, but what they're actually giving to us is totally different.
Mm-hmm.
And they don't explain that to us.
Mm-hmm.
And it peeves me because there's all these new things coming out, and they say, "Oh, this is great for this." Same with herbs; it's no different. It's the flavor of the month. Was it cloves are the flavor of the month at the moment? Everyone's taking cloves for parasites, and yes, they will kill most parasites. It will, but it only kills the adults. It doesn't kill the babies.
Oh, okay.
See what I'm saying?
Yes, I'm learning from you, Scott.
Yeah, well, I've been doing this for 20 odd years now. So, when I first went through uni, goji berries. Everyone's got to get goji berries. Goji berries are the best. It's great for fertility. It's fantastic for it. Yeah, it's okay with certain fertility issues, yes, for women's health, but it's not the be all and end all. You see what I'm saying? It's just false advertising. They're playing on people's ignorance. Their inability. They're playing on people's ability to not go and research what they're actually saying. It's just disgusting.
It is. Disgusting. Yeah, that is.
It's misleading.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
They're deceiving the public. They're deceiving the public, but they get away with it, and no one seems to get their knuckles wrapped. And it's still happening today. It's still going.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, so tell us more about the products you were taking as well.
Shackley also came out with several products two years ago. One that I'm taking now, it's a strawberry flavored gummy, and it's actually stress relief as well as a mood lifter, and it's got ashwagandha in it. So I have used that, and as a result, I was able to become medication free. So that's a win. So for someone over 60 to be medication free
unheard of.
Quite something. Yes. Here in the States, we are one of the most affluent nations in the world, yet we have the sickest population. So there are more people on drugs than many years ago. I mean, for sure.
Oh, we're not far behind. I think you're just doing us by a nose. I mean, per capita, we're pretty ill. Per capita, we're pretty ill. You just got, the States has got a bigger population, obviously.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So the numbers look worse.
Yeah, it's I went into a drugstore. Goodness, it's been years ago, and the clerk said that they were running a special. That if I bought into a monthly membership fee or something, that I would get my monthly prescriptions at a discount. And I said, but we were a family of 5. I said, but we don't have any prescriptions. And she about fell over. She's like, you're a family of 5 and you don't have any prescriptions. At that point, we had 3 teenagers. And I said, no. But I was surprised at her reaction. And she was equally surprised, at my answer.
Your answer, yeah. Yeah, well, yeah, it's yeah, well, I mean, 1/3 of the population, this is Australia and the US, 1/3 of the population over 65 have type 2 diabetes.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Yes,
1 in 3. That's
it's
1 in 3. That
increasing.
means that's 1 in
Mm-hmm.
3. So they're going to be taking medication for sure.
Right.
And that's the ones that complain.
Mm-hmm. Right.
That's the ones that come forward and say, "Oh, there's something wrong."
Right. And when I was growing up, I was a kid in the 70s, a young adult in the 80s, and back then I don't remember people being obese. All of my classmates were well muscled, on the slender side. It was rare to see someone, with a muffin top or, someone that was large. But now, if you look at a high school now, you can see a lot of the kids, a lot of the students, they're battling some weight problems.
I want you to do something. Go. Is there a beach near you?
The closest would be Lake Erie.
Yeah.
We really don't have sunbathing there. It's more fishing, water sports.
Anyway, there was a beach that's here in Queensland that's famous. All the surfing world knows the beach, but it was called Surfers Paradise. Anyway, there's a photo that they took in 1974, and you see everyone on the beach. They've all got their clothes, they got their board shorts and budgie smugglers, and the girls have got their bikinis on, and everyone's lean. There's not one fat person in the whole photo, and there was hundreds of people on the beach, hundreds. And then they took a photo in 2024, the same photo, the same angle, the same area of the beach, and geez, I'd say 50% were overweight.
Oh, yeah.
So if you find a museum that's near a beach, go and check out the photos.
Yeah. And a lot of it is our diet. It's really changed. When I was a kid, we had soda pop that had pure cane sugar, and then they started manufacturing soda pop with corn syrup because it was less expensive, and that then caused more weight gain.
Yep. Oh yeah. Okay, so I blame all the sugar cane. I blame on Victoria the first. Queen Victoria the first, because she loved a cake, and everyone actually had to have black teeth. It was fashionable to have black teeth in Victoria's court, because if you had black teeth, that meant that you ate cake. You had the money to buy cake and eat it.
Okay.
Cake,
I did not know that.
Because the cake ate rotten their teeth, and there was no such thing as tooth. There was no such thing as toothpaste back then. So toothpaste didn't come out until the 1940s, 1930s, 1940s. So, so she loved sugar. She loved sugar. So sugar cane exploded, especially through the East Indies, through the Jamaica and those regions. It exploded. Like when you see the geographical maps of the islands, it just went from this little bit in the early 18th century to like the whole island within about a 10 years span. So it's all because of Victoria. Anyway, and then Mr. Kellogg's. Mr. Kellogg's come along in the 1920s.
Yes.
So I should say, Pastor Kellogg's realized that there was a constipation epidemic throughout the whole world, and his remedy was to create a cereal because no one ate breakfast. So that's why it was called Break Fast, and he created that name.
Okay.
He created the word breakfast to break the fast.
Oh,
So
okay. Right, right.
so how did he, why? Because he wanted to sell his cereal. Well, he didn't call it cereal back then. He just called it bran flakes. But the bran flakes tasted like cardboard. So what did he do? He realized that corn, if you put corn into the formula, it actually tasted a lot better, and that's what became cornflakes.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah,
Right,
and he realized it was cheaper to make too,
right,
because
right.
you got to remember everyone was eating meat and three veg. Oh my god, there was no type 2 diabetes, zero, none, because they all ate what, meat and three veg.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But the side effect is you can get a bit constipated.
I remember when I was a little girl and my grandparents, who, I mean, they were born in the early 20th century, and they would eat. My grandfather would always have like bacon and eggs for breakfast, and
Yep.
maybe a bowl of oatmeal. So the oatmeal was, just oats, and then of course the eggs and the bacon, and then milk. He had milk, maybe some orange juice. Might have had some orange juice, but in
It
terms
was
of
all
cereal,
it was
he
all fresh. It was
yes, it
all
was
fresh.
all it was all
Fresh,
fresh.
fresh orange juice, fresh raw milk. Yeah,
Right,
get it.
right. And my dad was actually raised on raw milk because his grandfather owned a dairy. And
Yeah,
so his uncles would deliver fresh milk to his mom and dad's house every morning. And he was one of five. And so they grew up on the raw milk because it was just like right down the road, and they would get it delivered, by their uncles, every day.
yeah, yeah. So yeah, and but that's because everyone had to eat natural because you either had to grow it or you had to
Mhm.
raise it
Right, right.
or both. Usually it
Mhm.
was both.
Right. And I remember they always had a large garden. It was their own farm raised vegetables,
Yeah,
um, that were just fresh. You just go out and to the garden. If you were making supper and you needed a tomato, run out to the garden and just grab a tomato.
yeah. That's and but see that's all gone. That's Gonski. That we don't do that anymore. We don't pick our own food. Now we go to a supermarket. It takes us bugger all energy to go and get it. We didn't have
Hmm.
to grow it. We don't know where it comes from. We have no idea what they put in it, how they preserved it. Because milk is a perfect example.
Hmm.
When I was a kid, we had we called it gold tops. So there's a milk. It was a glass bottle, the gold top on top, and the milkman would deliver it every day. And you usually got about 3 to 5 days out of that milk bottle. Yeah, I don't know if you got it over there, but we did here.
Hmm.
And but that was it. You didn't get any more than 5 days because then it's just started to stink, and it was off.
Yeah, I remember when I was young, we had milk delivered, but I want to say it was pasteurized. It wasn't like fresh milk.
That wasn't
But
all. Wasn't all.
I was one of four kids, and so we we made short work of the milk, whenever it came. So I don't ever remember it going bad, but
because you drank it quickly. That's why. Because there
mm-hmm,
were so many of us. I had two other brothers, and we'd drink it within a few days. A couple of days, it'd be gone.
mm-hmm,
But he would deliver it every day, so it didn't matter because we'd drink it by the next day anyway.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
But now it's 3 weeks.
Oh, right, because they have it stamped on the expiration date.
Yeah, correct.
Mm-hmm.
It's 3 weeks. How can it go from 5 days to 3 weeks?
Right, right. Yeah.
That's because they're screwing with it. They're
Mm-hmm.
adding preservatives to it. That's what they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
So
Right.
it's not real milk.
Mm-hmm.
It's not real
Mm-hmm.
milk.
Yeah. Yeah.
Bread's the same. Bread used to go off with you go off really fast, but now it lasts up to a week.
Mm-hmm. Right.
What's going on?
Mm-hmm. And I can remember my mother making homemade bread. She would get the yeast packets and then um, make it. It was a little coarser than the
Yeah,
store bought bread, but
yeah,
it tasted better. It tasted better.
yeah. That's right. Because it's what they add to it.
Mm-hmm.
I've got a friend who's a baker, and I asked him. I said, because I know that they mill it, the flour, and I asked him because milling means that they separate it into three. They basically toss it to the point where except the wheat actually breaks up into three, breaks up into germ, uh, bran, and what we get on our tables. And that's that uh, white simple carb. I call it white simple carbohydrate because that's what it is. So the germ is the fat. Now the germ is there for a reason in wheat. It's to help our stomach absorb all the nutrients within the wheat. And the bran is the fiber. So that's what helps you to helps your gut and also your colon health. And what's left is the simple carbohydrate, and yeah, there's no nutritional value at all. Now the other thing is that it's white. Why is it white? Wheat is not white. It doesn't come out white.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
What do they do to it? They bleach
Oh,
it.
they bleach it. That's right. That's correct. Mm-hmm. Yep.
And then you say, "Oh, but I got brown bread. It's better for you." They just bleach it less.
Oh. Oh, wow. Mm.
It gets better and better. But yeah, so okay, we'll move on. So Diane, so I'll go to the third question. So actually, before I do that, any people that you've helped with the supplements that you provide?
Um, I will say that I did help one gentleman, one of my customers. He wanted to lose some weight. His doctor had recommended it. So Shackley does offer a weight loss system, and you have to be disciplined. So in addition to using our protein shakes, and we also have meal bars that are nutritional and meal replacement. In addition to that, you also have to be willing to watch what you're eating. So that means, not going out to McDonald's or,
Hey,
grabbing an ice cream sundae every other day. Or
well,
so,
you can go in there. You can only get the tea or water.
right, right. You can have the unsweetened iced tea. That's right. That you can do that. You can do that.
Yeah. But
Um,
that's it. Everything else is full of carbs, full of garbage.
Um, but it's actually training yourself to eat healthy. Go ahead and get the fruits and vegetables. Eat a balanced meal. Cut out the sugar. Don't overdo it on snacks. So he was committed to this, and he was losing. He lost 30 pounds He was on his way to losing 40 pounds, and but he was getting there. And so that is a testimony that within, I would say, 4 to 6 months, he had already lost 30 pounds and he was keeping it off.
Wow, that's pretty cool.
So his blood pressure was down. His doctor was pleased. There was less weight on his joints. So
I'm so
that,
I'm so glad his doctor was pleased. I was going to say, so yeah, and that's what I was just going to say. He sounds like he was a heart attack or type 2 diabetic waiting to happen.
yes, yes. And he wanted to make sure he was taking care of that. He was addressing that concern.
Yeah.
So Shackley was helping. I have my own testimony. So back in 2022, I was diagnosed with hyperthyroidism. So my metabolism was just off the charts. And I went to an endocrinologist, was diagnosed. They put me on a very mild dose of medication. Within 6 months, I was off of it. And thank the Lord, it's in remission. So I have not gone back on to medication, but I'm still, I eat healthy, still watching it. I've always had a killer metabolism, but then it went into overdrive. And, but thankfully it's under control now. And I credit Shackley for that.
So that's a testament to the what do you call it? The soy, because the stuff that they sell in the shops now will actually cause hypothyroidism. So that means that the Shackley supplement is obviously working.
Yes. I've been taking. Sometimes I even take two shakes a day. But my my concern is not losing any further weight, which I know many people out there are so envious. But for me, maintaining my weight and not losing any is critical. So the fact that, I've been able to maintain a healthy weight for the last several years and not revert into hyperthyroidism is a win. And like you said, Scott, it's maintaining the vitamins and making sure that I'm eating well, eating healthy snacks. I notice that if I'm eating healthy, my appetite is more satisfied. I'm not craving the snacks. I'm not craving the sweets.
Yeah, that's excellent. All right, so I'll move on to the last second last, sorry, the third question. So tell me, who's your ideal client? Who are you looking to help the most?
So my team and I would be looking to help folks that are sick and tired of being sick and tired. They're willing to take a look at something alternative, something that their doctor may not be talking about. If they have, like we've talked about, if they've had a weight loss concern and nothing is working, we offer support for that. Not only our products, but we also have a group that will help hold them accountable. So it's also more of a lifestyle reset. It's making a choice that they want to be healthy. Folks that might be concerned with seasonal allergies. We have natural products that will not make them drowsy. If there's a child that also is, has allergy concerns, but mom doesn't want to put them on steroids, Shackley has an alternative solution to that. So, if your doctor tells you, hey, I really want to put you on this, I would encourage people to really ask some questions and make sure that that is the best thing for them. But if they want to look at something else, well, Shackley may have the answer for them.
Yeah, I don't believe in giving kids medication too early anyway. The Japanese figured it out. It's actually 2 years. So 2 years old, kids under the age of 2 years old shouldn't be taking any medication because our liver can't process it at that stage of their lives. So it makes it hard. But I mean, they've helped. I've seen kids come back from ICU, especially they call it NICU, the neonatal intensive care units. I've seen kids come back, so they're doing something right somewhere along the line. So I was going to say, and we'll go into the last question. So this you probably pretty much answered it already, but what ideas or information would you give to provide lifelong longevity?
One thing that I hadn't mentioned is the importance of maintaining your muscles. Shackley just announced this last month that if you maintain your muscle mass as you age, that's actually going to safeguard you as you get older, because muscles will help regulate your metabolism. They'll also help with your hormones. If you maintain your muscles, you're going to have better balance so you can avoid falls. So that is a good tip for folks that are looking at their health long term. Make sure you maintain your muscles because that's going to help you as you get into the senior years. And also look into products like Shackley because we're going to help you bridge the gap between your health and your age, because a lot of people are living longer, but their health is not keeping up with them. So Shackley may be an answer for you.
Yes, that's a very good point. You make a very good point there. Yes, people are living longer, but their quality of life is crap.
Yes.
I'm seeing a lot of it. Especially in Australia. Yes. All right. So thank you so much, Diane. So I'll just so you've got there. If you go to your website and go to the storefront, is that right? And make a purchase within the next couple of days, you get free delivery at your door, and you have to go to that link.
Yes. So that is correct.
Right. So that finishes Saturday night. Yeah, that finishes this Friday for you, but it'll be Saturday for us in Australia.
It will actually finish. It will finish here in the States on Thursday night, and so it would be a little bit later for Australia. So we do offer products in Australia. So Shackley actually branched into Australia last fall, so we can supply folks in Australia as well as here in the States.
Yeah, gotcha. So that's the website there. So thanks again, and because you didn't bag me too much this podcast, Diane, you actually get access to my health club. That's the bronze membership, so you get it for free for 1 month, and that's worth $11. So thank you very much for coming on. And no one asked any questions. If they did, they would have got access to it as well. So there it is. There, they use the free access code, and yeah, thank you so much, Diane.
You're very welcome. Thank you, Scott.
All right, guys, you've been watching the Get Busy Living podcast with the wonderful Diane Kehler, and you have a great day, guys. You take care, and we'll talk to you soon.